Good morning, wonderful people, and welcome to another video. Subject of today, friendship. What makes a friendship, or what is the definition of a friendship? What principles is it built upon? And how are you a good friend? Well, I'm going to be talking about this, and I'm basing it off of this guy, Cicero. He wrote a bit about friendship, and he put the stuff pretty beautifully. I really like the way he said it. He also says a lot of other smart stuff, so you should definitely check this guy out if you feel like it. But who was Cicero, for those that are not aware? Cicero was like an ancient Roman philosopher and politician, a very successful one. And unlike many of the other ones, he was not born into the aristocratic circles. He kind of rose through the ranks just based upon merit. So quite the cool guy. Would have been awesome to hang out with this guy, I think. And he said a lot of smart stuff, and he has influenced a lot of our society. People are not aware of his name, but they use things from him all the time. When he was trying to make philosophy more accessible for the Romans, he took on the task to kind of try and translate the Greek into Latin. And in doing so, he had to create some terms, some words. And I bet you've used those words in the past. So some of them are quality, individual, vacuum, moral, property, induction, element, definition, difference, notion, comprehension, infinity, appetite, instance, science, image, species. A bunch of words. And you have this guy to thank for that. This guy was also kind of refusing to be dogmatic. He refused to commit himself to any single school of thought. And by doing so, he kind of had his options open. He was free to change his opinion on things. He was not part of this almost cultish way of thinking. He might have said something contradictory, and he was fine with that because he was fine with having the ability to change his opinion. He was not subscribed only to one idea, and he was pretty open-minded in this way. So because of that, he was also not bound himself by his own opinions, which was pretty good. If you are not willing to change your opinions and you're holding on to them for other reasons, it probably means that the opinions aren't valid enough to kind of hold their own ground. And so that's not good. So this guy was onto something when it came to that. There was also a pope that tried to suppress this guy's writing. And anytime anyone wants to suppress any form of writing, I think that makes it extremely worth reading. Normally that's a good sign if someone wants to suppress something, and you should check it out, unless it's like complete bullshit, of course. He wanted to suppress Cicero's writing since the charm of their style diverted young men from the scriptures. So basically what he was writing was just simply too good, and it was full of too much wisdom, that it was diverting people away from scriptures because they found the wisdom in his writing. So probably worth to read some of what this guy was saying. But now that's enough of the background for Cicero. Sorry for wasting your time. On to the definition that he gave of friendship that I thought was really wonderful. Okay, so this guy defines friendship like this. Friendship may be defined as a complete identity of feeling about all things in heaven and earth, an identity which is strengthened by mutual goodwill and affection. With the single exception of wisdom, I am inclined to regard it as the greatest of all gifts the gods have bestowed upon mankind. So that's quite a beautiful way of putting it. That the friendship is the greatest gift bestowed upon mankind, maybe only second to wisdom. He also talks in another part about the importance of friendship. Um, he says, nothing else in the whole world is so... Sorry, let's start over. Nothing else in the whole world is so completely in harmony with nature, and nothing so utterly right in prosperity and adversity alike. That's also a beautiful way of putting it. That nothing is so utterly right in prosperity and in adversity as friendship. To me, that is beautiful. And he also says that it's in accordance with nature. And this idea that things that are in accordance with nature will inevitably be right and virtuous is quite common to think of from this time. And I think that's right. Things that are in accordance with nature, or our human nature, maybe, can often be virtuous. And so about the first quote, friendship, he puts friendship also, if you continue reading, above all of these sensuous pleasures, above power and above health. Because these things, they fade. They are not constant. They are also, in a way, external to us and not really up to you. Whereas virtue and mutual goodness, which is what friendship is based upon, is completely in your control. And this is a bit of a link to the Stoic philosophies or Stoicism, where they believe that the only thing that is truly ours, the only thing that cannot be taken away from you, that cannot be lost, the only thing that isn't really external is virtue. Like, your own virtue is truly yours and it cannot be taken away from you. And so there's a bit of that idea as well, which I think is a good idea. And he also, because friendship is based on mutual goodness, it's not okay to do something bad on the behalf of a friend, or because you were asked to by a friend. Because the friendship is based on goodness, and if the goodness ceases, the friendship will not really manage or survive. So, for example, in another place, he says like this: so among the rules of friendship, this ought to come first of all. Never ask your friends for anything that is not right, and never do anything for them yourself unless it is right. But then do it without even waiting to be asked. Always be ready to help, never hang back. And then he goes on to talk about how always offer advice willingly, be frank, and also be ready to receive advice, which I think most of us have a harder time with. So yeah, if friendship is based on mutual goodness, and it is this beautiful thing that is in accordance with nature, something that animals do not have. They don't have human friendships. For sure they have companions and maybe something close to friendship, but there is truly nothing like human friendship. And human friendship is valuable like that, in adversity and in prosperity. And this second part also talks about how loyalty does not necessarily equal blind obedience. True friends will speak the truth even when it's uncomfortable, and you should be open to advice and also be willing to offer it firmly when it's necessary. And it's also maybe a bit, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but the idea of kind of moral mirrors, that friends can help kind of reflect back to you or make clear your own actions, reflect back your flaws and your virtues, which is useful information if you're trying to be a good person, at least. If you're not, then you're free to do as you like. Fair enough. And I thought it was still relevant a bit to talk about friendship, because in our time now we have more connection than ever, but there seems to be kind of a lack of this real friendship, at least in the way that Cicero talks about. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of there's almost like a loneliness crisis and a crisis of meaning And I think friendships, or good friendships, could be a way out of that. And I thought it was just very well said, the definition of friendship and how to be a good friend. So definitely, if you have the time, check out Cicero. He has some really good ideas, and probably a pretty cool guy. Now that was all for me today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.